Hi, welcome to the ABCs of blogging. A, about blogs. B, building a blog. C, creating posts. I'm Dr. Terry Lassane. I'm a professor of library science at Sam Houston State University. And if you look at the screen and you notice that my name doesn't look like Lassane, just remember it rhymes with insane. I've been a professor here at Sam Houston for 20 years. Prior to that, I was a middle school English language arts teacher for 10 years. Currently, I maintain two blogs. One, on Blogspot, has a focus on the books themselves, and you'll see that every day I blog about a different book that I've read. I also maintain a blog at Livejournal. That's more of a professional combination, personal and slightly political platform for me, where I post about things related to education, sometimes things involved with literacy and books, and sometimes just things that make me go, wonder what's going on. In this first session, we're going to talk about blogs. But first, I think we need to define that term. The term blog is kind of interesting in terms of how it came into being. It's actually a combination of the words book and log, blog. It was coined in 1997. It accidentally went from web plus log to we plus blog, and suddenly now we just have blog. Initially, blogs were nothing but diaries online. People talking about what they did, where they went, what they ate, what their kids were doing. But with the launch of hosting platforms such as Livejournal and Blogger and WordPress, the blogs really began to develop into something a little bit more than just personal narratives. Blogs are now considered part of social networking and really are an active learning and sharing community that can foster the exchange of ideas between professionals and can foster discussion and debate. But in my case, it's a record of what I've read on the Blogger site and a platform of opinion on the Livejournal site. What your blog says is going to be up to you. Who's blogging out there? Well, if you look at the demographics of bloggers, you'll see that most of them are between the ages of 18 and 44. That's 60% of bloggers there. But really, they run the gamut from teenagers on up to senior citizens, including myself in that category. 75% of bloggers have college degrees. 40% of us have graduate degrees. About half of bloggers are working on at least their second blog, and 68% have been blogging for 2 or more years. This is not a new phenomenon, not something that's a static kind of platform. Most bloggers have been blogging for at least a year, and there are over 100 million bloggers out there as of last year. The numbers for this year, not in yet, but I suspect we're going to see a growth. Now, why should you blog? Well, there are lots of motivations that lie behind bloggers. About 70% of people who blog say that they get personal satisfaction, and that's a way they measure the success of their blog. I know in my case, that certainly is something that gives me a great deal of satisfaction. I love seeing that finished blog. Bloggers are most likely to describe themselves as sincere. Some of them describe themselves as snarky, and I would include myself in that category, and you'll see that when you go to my blogs. 71% say they blog at least in part in order to speak their minds, or in some cases to share their expertise with others, and I'm hoping that that's what we'll do in our time together. Many of the respondents say that blogging has led them to become more involved with things they're passionate about as a result of that blogging. About half have become friends with someone they've met in person through their blog, and I can certainly attest to that. It's wonderful to actually put faces and names together when people come up to you and go, "Oh, you're Professor Nana, how nice to meet you." The what of blogging, I think, tells us an awful lot about what to expect in the time that we're going to be working together. But I also want to talk a little bit about the how of blogging. Very few bloggers spend a great deal of time each week working on their blog. Only about 15% spend 10 or more hours blogging each week. Most bloggers report that they update on a daily basis, and some maybe 2 to 3 times a week. The majority of blogs are posting weekly, I think, for the most part. Blogs use things called tags. Tags make it an easy Tags make it easier, for people to find information on your blog. If I have a post that's several thousand words and people need to know about whether or not it's going to be about a subject that's interesting to them, they can search tags first. Quite a few people have attempted to build blogs from scratch, but most people today are using blogging platforms such as Livejournal, Blogger, some of the other blogging platforms that are out there. A lot of people post photos to their blog, and images have become the most popular form of multimedia out there. My reason for a blog? Quite simple. People kept asking me about good books that I'd been reading. And I don't know about you, but all I could remember was the last book that I had read. And even though I could point them to a list, it just wasn't enough. So my blog is something that I update daily. I add those then to a list if people want them. But I want to make it more personal, less dull, a little bit less uniform. I wanted a way to document the reading I was doing and to reach out to a wider audience. At first, it was kind of lonely out there on the blog. Now there are many bloggers within and outside of my own field, bloggers that I read every day. So how did I make my voice heard? That's what we'll talk about in the B session under the ABCs of blogging. B for building the blog. For now, here are the quick key questions for you to consider. Number 1, what do I bring to the blog? Number 2, what will the blog bring to me? And number 3, what can the blog bring to others? Here's your assignment. Create an account using Blogger. Go to blogger.com, log in. It's a free website. Set yourself up for a Blogger account. There are other platforms, but really this is the one you need to use. Number 2, please visit my 2 blog sites, and you'll see the URLs for them on the screen. I'm Professor Nana at livejournal.com, and at Blogspot, I'm LS5385blog, which is basically a code for a course in young adult literature that I teach. So take a visit, take a look at what I'm blogging about. And then 3, think about the topic that you want to be the focus of your blog. Once you've kind of settled on that, do a search and visit other blogs that will be within this community. If you do a simple Google search, you're going to come up with lots and lots of other places that you can take a look and see what people are blogging about. See you soon.